really didn't think I'd be making this video. I was actually working on another crochet project. And then Ryan Gosling had to come out with a movie called Project Hail Mary, and he had to wear that stupid, cute fox cardigan that is consuming me. So now I have to make it. That's what this video is about, is I'm going to be making that fox cardigan. Here's a little bit of lore that I know of this cardigan. The cardigan is an actual Mary Maxim pattern, and you know how much I love Mary Maxim. I go there like, what, once every 3 months? I love that store. It's one of my favorite stores. The production team found the actual sweater, and they wanted to use it on set. Now, the original one is a wolf, okay? This is the original one. But the wolf looks a little scary, and they have some bloody paw prints. That's how I would see it, because they're red paw prints, right? They ended up deciding that let's make it a fox, and let's make it cuter, and let's not have bloody paw prints on it. So this is the new pattern that is out there. I love foxes, and I actually made a fox scarf way back in the day, like way back in the day that I didn't really know what I was doing for crocheting, and somehow I made one. Mary Maxim has released a pattern for this fox cardigan. However, I have to say that in order to get the new pattern for this, you have to buy the kit. Now, if anybody is not familiar with Mary Maxim, they do have knit and crochet kits. So they supply you with the pattern, and they also supply you with the yarn plus anything you might need with it, like if you need the crochet hook or any other notions like buttons and stuff like that, depending on the project. They actually do have this kit available where you get the new improved fox cardigan and you get all the yarn with it. It is $80, but when you think about the pattern you're buying plus all the yarn that you're getting with it, it's not that bad of a price, okay? Because you get everything in the kit and you don't have to go looking for it. However, I cannot wait for this kit. And I'm also not going to knit it. I'm going to do a crochet version. What I did is I actually bought the wolf pattern online. It is a downloadable PDF. So I have the grid, I have the pattern. With me and my Procreate, I'm going to alter it so it looks like the fox one. Now, this is not going to be on my Patreon. I'm not making this a Patreon pattern because it is not my pattern at all. I am just basically changing the colors of the wolf one to the fox one, and of course changing the eyes and a few other little things. There's really not that much of a difference between the original pattern and the new pattern. Just the new one is an orange fox, and he just looks a little cuter and not as sinister. In the knit version of this, you need like a chunky yarn, but because I'm crocheting it, I decided to get an Aran weight yarn, which is just a little bit above a worsted weight yarn, so then that way it kind of still gives the same effect. Hear me out. I know, I have started knitting. I've done some knitting projects. I just feel more comfortable if this was a crochet project. Let's get into the yarn that I got for this project. The first yarn I got is this one here. It is the Loops and Threads Color Craft Acrylic, and I got it in the color Linen. This yarn may or may not look familiar for y'all because last year, I think around the same time, I made my Stranger Things grandfather clock. And the background color, it's right there, I'm looking at it, is this exact color. I saw the Ryan Gosling version and I really loved that beigey color. And then I'm like, I've seen that beigey color before, and it turns out it's very similar to the color that I used for the background of my grandfather clock. I ended up buying 2 of these, which I think I'm definitely going to need more than one. Then I ended up buying 2 of these ones. This is the color Clay, the Soft Classics, which, you know, I do like from time to time. And then I also got a black one only because I know I have some black yarn. However, the only black yarn that I'm 100% sure that I know that I have is like Pound of Love, and that's a lot thinner than this type of yarn. And I want to make sure that all the yarn is the same consistency. I don't really buy this yarn a lot. I don't think I need a lot of it for this project, but my sister, she uses black yarn a lot for her projects, so I'm sure she can use it for something. And then I ended up buying this gray. Again, I do not have gray in the color schemes. I never have to buy gray for anything, and all the grays that I have that I've had to buy for things are always a lighter gray. So I ended up buying a dark gray. The only yarn that I did not buy that I will need is a red, but I am like 99% sure I have this red because the red is only going to be needed for the wolf's tongue. And so I'm like, I don't need to buy a whole skein of red for that. I am interested to see how this is going to turn out because again, the original one is knit. The one I'm doing is crochet, so I'm probably going to have to tweak it a little bit, but it is also kind of nice that I don't have to make a grid pattern for this. I just have to alter it a little bit. I think it's going to be okay. it's gonna be okay. If you're new to my channel and you like crocheting and yarn and thrifting and the 80s and like all that jazz, why not hit the subscribe button? So let's go over the plan for the project. I'm gonna be using the wolf pattern by Mary Maxim. I purchased this one and I am just going to alter the design a little bit to look more like the fox. I will be using an Aran weight yarn and the brand is Loops and Threads. And for the crochet hook, I'm going to be using a 5mm. Now I'm in my yarn storage. So if I were to have red, I think that's the one there. It would be in this one because this is the Aran bulky weight. Remember, I would used to buy this yarn all the time. So I have this, which is the thickness that I want it to be, and like that is exactly what I wanted for the fox. See, here's the thing, I knew I had this, hence why I didn't have to buy another one. I thought I was doing so good, and then I realized that this paw is way too far away from this leg because I didn't add enough in here. I have to take this apart, which means I have to take all this row apart, which sucks. At least I caught it right now because I was looking at it, I'm like, that looks pretty far compared to what it looks like on the pattern. I'm gonna be taking this off. This is probably like a half hour worth of work. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so this is how far I am today. Look how good that looks. That looks so gosh darn good. The little mushroom looks like his little ear. I'm almost halfway done, so this is going to be a longer cardigan than I normally would make, but I just feel like it needs to be that long cardigan. You know, that cardigan that you would wear in the morning if you were to have coffee. I have ice caps, but you know, you get what I mean. Sitting on the porch, having a coffee in the morning, on a cabin in the middle of the woods by a lake. That's what this vibe of this is gonna be. I have never been so excited for a crochet project. I get maybe a few crochet projects a year that I'm just like so excited for, and this is definitely one of them. Because a lot of times when I'm crocheting, I'll be like, okay, I'm a little bored, I'm gonna take a break, I'm gonna do this. No, this one, I wanna get this done. Here's my problem. Sometimes when I do these tapestry projects, I don't know how it happens, but sometimes I'm like off like 1 or 2 stitches, and I don't know if it has to do with like I didn't move over when I should have done that. His body right here is 2 stitches too many, so I just added an extra stitch here, and then I added an extra one here, so there was only supposed to be 4 here, and then on my way back I'll just like, you know, kind of fix it. So that's the thing with like tapestry crochet is like if you mess up, it's not that big of a deal unless you think it is a big of deal. It's pretty easy just kind of like to fix it up. It's so funny though, I have to say, is like up close he looks so cute, and then when I like kind of hold it up in the mirror to see what it looks like, they look very angry, which I think is like kind of adorable. But like up close he looks so cute, and like the further you get, like the more angrier they look, but then when you get it back up close, they look really cute. I do realize that the one that Ryan Gosling wears, the white connects here, and I didn't really pay too much attention to that because I was kind of just following the pattern that I had, and I didn't think they had changed it, but they had. So like right here is technically supposed to be like white if I was doing it from the movie. I think they look pretty good. And if it really bothers me that much, I can just get some of the beige yarn and just fill that in, just with a yarn needle. I don't think I will though. All right, I have an update on the Fox cardigan. I got the back panel done, just so it is a little bit longer than the pattern itself. It's knitted, but I mean, I've expected that, but it's not as long as I thought. So it is going to be a little bit longer than I am used to for a cardigan that I normally make. So far, I haven't really had to change anything with the pattern, except for the details, like the tail. I thought this was the first tail I did, this was the second, so I kind of fixed what I did here, and so here I just gonna sew something there. I had to do something with the eyes. In the pattern that you can buy from Mary Maxim, the wolf one that I converted to the fox one, they do want you to kind of taper it in like this, so that way you can put the sleeve in, and the sleeve also has like a curved top. I'm not gonna do that, okay, because I don't know how it's gonna fit. I've never done that before, and if I were to like curve this and realize I hate it so much, basically all of this work up I would have to redo, because I'd have to take it apart and redo it. And we're not doing that, okay? Not this time, especially not with this yarn, because it is very chunky. So this is gonna be more of like a jacket cardigan is kind of how I see it. So anyways, what I'm gonna be doing is, as you can see, I left it flat. And then for the sleeves, I'm not gonna do the curved that they tell me. I'm also gonna do it flat. And then that way it can just sit like all my other cardigans do. Example, this sweater here, see how it's square, square. I like how these fit. That's how the cardigan is gonna go. And I mean, like, if you've been watching my channel, then you know that that's how I make all my sweaters and cardigans. Still don't know what I'm gonna do with the collar yet, because the way that the collar is on the actual pattern is like kind of this like rounded shape. I don't think I'm gonna do that because I don't know how to do that, but I also don't know if I want that. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. I know that in the original one they put a zipper. I'm not putting a zipper. I'm going to be putting some really cute buttons, and if I can find some like cute vintage buttons, which I did buy 2 bags of them from Value Village like 2 months ago, and I have a whole button jar too, so maybe I'll find some cute buttons. And today I will hopefully be starting one of the front panels, so that's going to be interesting because I'm going to have to alter it a little bit. But yeah, so far this is going really fast and I think it looks really good. Today I did a little bit of thrifting, didn't find too many things, but I did find these. These are yarn bobbins. You can kind of see there, it says Perfecto and then it says yarn holder. These ones are a lot bigger than these, which is fantastic. And even though these are the big ones that I've been using, they keep running out and I have to keep rewinding them, where these ones, they look pretty big and they look like they can hold a lot of yarn. So I'm really excited to start using these today. I had to take it apart because I was like up here and I had to take it apart because I messed up a little bit. I keep forgetting where I am, so I have to put these little stitch markers. Blue means I'm on I2 and pink means it's I1, like literally EYE. So I2, I1. So I had to put the stitch markers so I can remember where I am, because I've kind of been messing up because of that. I'm not technically done the front panel, but I just don't know what I want to do for, also like that turned out a little weird. That's fine. I didn't really even notice it, to be honest. I don't know what to do going up like this. Like I don't know how I want to make the neckline for this cardigan. So I think I'm just going to stop on this one and start the next one, because for this one, it's just single crochets going up. How many rows I need to go up. And it's very simple to do, but I don't want to do it and then have to take it apart because I thought of a better idea. So I'd rather have both panels done up to this point and then figure it out. So yeah, so now I'm going to start again at the bottom on the new panel. Last night I thought I was doing great. I'm like, yay, things are getting done. Got up to here so that way I can start the fox head today. And then I realized the pocket is in the wrong spot. So for this one, because it's on this side, the pocket is closer to the front. This one is supposed to go this way, and the pocket is near the back, which means I have to take apart 6 rows. Thank goodness they're not color work. Oh my goodness, that would have been horrible. But I'm gonna have to move the pocket over. The pocket should be here, not over there. So that's fun. There's Whispers. Say hi, Whispers. You're a good boy. I was able to get the front panels done to a certain point. I still have to finish them, yet I just wasn't 100% sure what I wanted to do. And I've kind of figured out, and this is like kind of like the math again, because I am doing the crochet version. Since it's crochet, it is completely different than the knitted pattern in the way that it's going to fit. But he's looking real cute. Actually, they're looking real cute. So I need this to line up with this. I have to decrease to get it there, because I kind of want like a V in the front, and I'm going to be doing ribbing, even though yes, this neck might seem very open. Once you put ribbing in it, it's going to look better. I have an update on the Fox cardigan. I got the front panels somewhat done. I started pretty much at this pocket part yesterday and I got all of this done. I am at the point where I have 20 more rows to go and I want to start decreasing. So what I'm going to do is every other row I'm going to decrease 1. I want to make sure that the top of this has 30 single crochets so I can line it up and I can sew it. If I have to do 10, 20, 10 every other one, then I need 20 rows and I think I only have 10 rows left. So I should have started decreasing already. I messed up, but that's okay, because all I have to do is just take it apart this. I just have to take apart the plane. Good thing I figured that out now. Essentially what's going to happen is this is going to be a V. That's what I'm getting at. It's going to be a V. Every other row I'm going to take 1 single crochet out. I don't want it to be a steep angle. I want it to be like kind of a gradual angle, kind of like this. My plan is to get both these front panels done today. Maybe even both the sleeves done today. That could be a possibility, because for the sleeves all I have to do is the paws at the bottom, like the paw prints at the bottom, and they take like nothing. and then I just have to single crochets in the beige color. Also, I do want to point out that I did use up pretty much one full skein. I've had to start the second. That is how much yarn this takes, this one. I've had to start a second one. I took the rows apart. I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking, oh, 10 decreases equals 10 rows. But if I'm decreasing every other row, then technically it's twice as many rows. So every other row gets decreased. And what I did is I put a little purple stitch marker here so I remember that this is the end that I have to decrease, because knowing me, I might accidentally do it over here. Once this one's done though, the other one will be so much easier to do, but it's always the first one of anything that's really, really tricky. All right, so I think today I'm probably only gonna get one sleeve done. It is taking me longer than I thought. It's also very boring. It is so boring right now. Usually when I do tapestries, it's like, okay, gotta change a color. I'm kept busy, but then this, it's just beige row after beige row after beige row. I did do a little try on. I think I need to do 8 more rows because I am gonna do a cuff with ribbing. Also, I have to say that my momentum has kind of slowed down, only because I was watching The Pit while I was doing the big parts, and because the show, The Pit, is very stressful, and it's a bunch of doctors and nurses running around, and there's chaos and everything. When I watch shows like that, I feel like I'm in it, and then I feel like I need to rush and be chaotic and get things done. And now it's over, and I'm watching a more calm show, and now I'm just kind of like going a lot more slower than normal. Or it could just be that I'm burnt out. Either one. Started from the bottom, and I'm going to the top because obviously of the paw prints. Normally when I do sleeves, I don't do anything on the sleeves. I don't do any pattern. So it doesn't matter what the top is and what the bottom is. This one kind of matters. Another thing about the sleeves is usually when I do sleeves on like these type of tapestry crochet sweaters that I make, I do half double. I like how half double feels. I like it better. I think it's like a little bit more drapey, but because of the paw prints, I had to do single. I technically could do half double for the paw prints, but I want these paw prints to look like the other paw prints. I also know that I could have done this in single crochet and then that in half double. I just don't think that's gonna look right. So it's fine. It's fine. I'm gonna do the 8 more rows for today, and then I think I'm gonna call it for tonight. And then tomorrow, do the other one, attach it, and start the ribbing. Hopefully also get the ribbing done tomorrow. So tomorrow, just one more sleeve to do, and then everything else. I have an update on the Fox cardigan. Yesterday I did an update, and I keep forgetting to change the audio levels. When I use the lav mic, I have to turn the volume all the way down, otherwise it would be way too loud, and then I forget to turn it back up when I don't wear it, right? I think I forgot to film me doing the front panel here. I'm sorry. Because a lot of times I won't do it for the first one. I'm like, well, I'll do it for the second one because then I'll know what I'm doing. And then I just get too into it and I forget. For this, I did 20 rows, every other row decrease. I think I got a sleeve done. I say I think because I don't know if this is going to be long enough. Like I know, here's the thing, I know it does not look long enough, but you have to remember that this cardigan is very much oversized. So the sleeve isn't going to really start till like down here. Then I'm going to have like a chunky cuff. It does not look the greatest right now. This is what it looks like right now. Got the 2 little pockets. And then we have the back. This does go down a lot farther than I thought it was going to. It is what it is. I should have used a thinner yarn, but I didn't want to make it too small. And if I would have used a thinner yarn, it wouldn't have been as long, but I would have had to make it wider. I also think that if I didn't do the paw prints, like if you just don't do the paw prints and you use this yarn, this would be like the perfect size, honestly. I could have even moved the heads of the wolves up a little bit more. I wasn't too sure. I didn't want to move them up too much and then it not look right. This is the length that I probably would have liked it at, but it's not as long as I thought. However, I will not be putting ribbing on the bottom. I've already made this decision. No ribbing on the bottom. Also, that means I don't have to do the ribbing on the bottom, and it will be a lot faster to get done. I think I will put a single crochet on the bottom when everything is attached together. And then that's gonna go, it's gonna go somewhere like this. So if this is gonna go here, and you see how that's already like stretched down, what's gonna happen here is I am going to put some ribbing for the cuff. Oh, this actually looks really cute. Like I know it looks really cute, I know this. But sometimes when I'm just like working on it a lot, I'm like, I don't know, is it gonna work? Did I make it too big? Okay, that's not bad. Oh, I was kind of worrying yesterday. This is my goals for today. Do the other sleeve, sew it together, do the ribbing, and maybe the pockets. I really would like to get this done today. I don't know if that's gonna happen because the sleeve took me so long yesterday to do. If it doesn't get done today, it's definitely gonna get done tomorrow. So that's good. Totoro has decided to join me. Yeah, she's just being a good girl today. Just keeping track of my yarn as I crochet, isn't that right? Yeah, she's just a little, oh, she's so cute. She's just my little crochet buddy. Okay, I did it. All the pieces are now crocheted. Now I have the opportunity to sew them all together. I just hope I don't sew anything wrong. Okay, so there's going to be 2 ways that I'm sewing this together, and I do this for every single one of my projects. I like to clip what I'm sewing together. This helps me sew it on straight. What I like to do is for the tops of the shoulders, I like to do a mattress stitch. I think that it makes it really nice, really flat. It doesn't create any bulk. It looks nice. So when I do the mattress stitch, I like to do it on the good sides facing out. I like to use like either metal or what is this, aluminum types of needles to sew things together. I like to do these ones inside out, so the good sides are facing each other. Unlike the shoulders where I was doing a more fancier method like the mattress stitch that just, it's not even that much more complicated. It just looks nicer. I am now just sewing it like you would hand sew pretty much anything. It didn't get done yesterday like I was kind of hoping. I don't know, the sleeve just, it was so boring. The sleeve was so boring, but on the bright side, it's all put together. So this is what it's looking like right now, okay? Then we have the back. You might be like, Michelle, this is very open. Why did you do that? Ribbing, okay? I'm gonna be putting ribbing. Picture the ribbing. It's gonna go like that, okay? Ribbing is gonna go from the bottom all the way up, over, down. I'm gonna do ribbing for the cuffs, because like they feel so short, but once the ribbing is in, it will tighten up. I feel like it's gonna fall over off my shoulders. I probably could have brought it in a little bit closer, but I feel like the ribbing will help with that, and if it doesn't, I'm gonna be a little upset. Okay, so it's gonna like come up to here. I didn't want like it to sit on my neck. Right now, like right here is just bothering me so much of how open it is. Did I make a huge mistake?
I've made a huge mistake.
Today it's getting done. Today it is getting done. No excuses. It's getting done today. I'm gonna do the ribbing first. I'm gonna get the ribbing around the collar and the front done. After that, I'm gonna do the sleeves. So like the cuffs for the sleeves, and then I'm gonna do the pockets. And then we're gonna see where I am for time. Like if it's like 7 or 8, then I think I might be weaving in some ends, but I'm just gonna be honest, if I don't get the ends done by the time this video comes out, I'm not doing anything this weekend. I just wanna take it really easy. And so my plan is to just take it easy this weekend now that it's done and just weave in the ends. Okay, but anyways, that's the update for right now. The next time that you will see this whole thing on me, standing in here, it will be done. Let's look through the buttons, see if I find any that I like for this project. If not, I will go out tomorrow morning and buy them. I like these ones, but they're a little bit too small. We got purple ones. Ooh. Oh, these have a set of 8. Oh, they're from Hamilton, Ontario, and they're called Famous Buttons. Oh, look at these ones. Okay, these ones are good too, but I think they're a little bit too orange. Okay, these ones are a top contender. I like those ones. I need to either have 6 or 8 of them, because when I put the buttonholes in the project, you know, I don't want to put too many or not enough. So I like these ones. Ooh, these ones are nice too. They're like a brown, kind of shiny. All right, I found 8 of these, so I think we're just gonna go with those. I am now working on the ribbing. For the ribbing, I'm doing 4 single crochets high, and I'm doing 2 skips. It just means that I'm slip stitching 2 stitches in here and slip stitching that. So for me to do my buttonholes, 2 single crochets in the back loops because it's ribbing, and then I'm going to chain 2 because it's only 4. So I did 2, chain 2, that is 4. I'm going to go back down here and I'm going to do my 2 slip stitches. So in the 2 slip stitches that I did, I'm going to do single crochets in those and then work my way back. I'm working on this part here and I 100% hate it. I hate every little thing about it. What I didn't realize is that the yarn and this is so heavy that it's just pulling it down and I don't feel comfortable in it. I'm gonna have to take the back panel off and the front panel off and redo them just to like a certain point, which I don't want to do, but it is just, it needs to come in. It needs to come in like 5 stitches this way, 5 stitches this way, and it will be fine. Really don't like how this fits. I don't want to take it apart later. I'd rather just take it apart now. Well, nothing is really attached together. Like I haven't done the ribbing yet. So just gonna do that now. Well, it took me probably an hour. I'm gonna look on the bright side. I had figured out a better way to sew my panels together, and I had figured that out after I had sewn the sleeves on. And so I didn't really like the fit of the sleeves. And part of me was like, okay, like maybe one day I'll take them apart and I'll just resew them, but like I won't do it right now. Well, because I had to take this apart, I'm like, might as well just resew the sleeves better. So I guess that's fine. Now, what I'm actually gonna do is something completely different. And if it doesn't work out, that's on me. I've never done this type of neckline before, but I was kind of looking at Pinterest for ideas because I really didn't want to take it apart. I'm like, is there anything I can do that I don't have to take it apart? I did find a really good idea. The collar, you go up so many rows and then you flip it over, but you do it in ribbing. So what I'm thinking is I'm gonna do ribbing. Like this is 4, I'm thinking maybe 10 ribbing all the way around the collar. And then with this regular ribbing, attach it to the collar ribbing. If that makes sense, I think it will look really cool. Okay, so I got front ribbing done. Now I'm gonna work on the sleeves. It is almost 9 p.m. I wanted to be done this whole thing. I'm getting kind of worried because this is it. This is all the yarn that I have left. So I'm just gonna do the cuffs now, and the cuffs for the ribbing, I'm gonna really cinch it in. I think I'm gonna do 10 stitches high, and I think I'm gonna do 4 slip stitches in between. He just wants so much attention. And that should really cinch it in. I'm gonna hopefully get the cuffs done now.
The next day.
So last night at like 11 o'clock p.m. finished what I wanted to finish. So I kind of got one pocket done. That's what it looks like. What I did for the pocket, the original pocket, so like over here, and of course like this is a different pocket than the pattern because again I'm crocheting this and kind of making it up as I go along, is I crocheted and then I chained a bunch. Instead of crocheting into the bottom of this, I chained, and then I went, and then on my way back I just crocheted into those chains, and so that's what gave me this hole. And then last night I did some ribbing on the pocket. So I did the ribbing on the bottom part of the pocket, and then I went up and then down and then up and then down, etc. And I did 2 slip stitches between every rib. And what I got to do today, because obviously it's not complete, I need to sew it down. So I just need to tack it down there and tack it down there. Now I'm sewing the buttons. Luckily, I had this thread and it matches the buttons perfectly. I made sure to check this morning as well, just in case I needed to buy thread for it. Before the final try on, I just want to give it a good little steam. And I'm basically just kind of doing the seams. It's done. I have finished crocheting this. I never thought I would be done crocheting this, honestly. But it is done. We got the fox, cute. And then we got the 2 foxes on the back. I even made the collar. I wasn't too sure what I was gonna do with the collar. I really didn't know. I thought I was just gonna do ribbing, like this ribbing, like all the way up and around. And then last evening, around 4 p.m., I tried it on and I didn't like it. It was like too far down. And the thing is normally when I do my crochet projects, I've no problem with that. It usually works out fine. And then I remembered how heavy and thick that this material is. It was like dragging down, like the sleeves were literally pulling at the neckline, and the neckline kept going out to here like you saw. Like, I was not in a good headspace yesterday. I'm like, okay, like what can I do to fix this? And so I kind of went on Pinterest and I saw somebody have like this type of collar. And I'm like, oh, that's actually really cute. It's not gonna fix my problem, but I still want to do it. Last night, I took apart 10 rows of this panel, 10 rows of this panel. I think only 6 rows of this panel because I had to make that flat. So at the back, I used to have that little square neckline like you probably saw, and it just didn't work for this project, unfortunately. Normally when I do my projects, it works perfectly and I love it, but because of how heavy and dense this is, it didn't work out. I ended up just going right up to the top. As you can see, I just made it a big square. For the ribbing, as you can kind of see here, remember how I did that like decrease here? I only did 5 decreases, so every other row for 10 rows, I did a decrease. That's how I got to this. And then what I did is I did ribbing from like here, I think it's like 10 single crochets high. Honestly, I could have made it bigger. I'm kind of mad that I didn't. So I did 10 single crochets across, all the way around my neck. And then I picked up my ribbing because I was already working on the ribbing when I decided I don't like it. And then I just finished the ribbing back up. So it kind of lined up with the top of this. And it did this. I hope I explained that right. I've never done a collar like this before because I didn't know how to do it. And I honestly think that it makes the project. Without it, it just looked very plain up here. And I was kind of disappointed that I didn't move the fox's head up. With it, it really fills in the space. I also added buttons. The original one is a zipper and I know how to put a zipper in. I'm fine with sewing zippers in, but I just don't really care for zippers if I don't have to put them in. I like the button details because although, to be honest, the amount of times that I'm gonna button it up are probably not gonna be a lot because I don't really button things up. Just think that the buttons add to like the retro-ness of this, especially because I found retro buttons. So like when I saw these buttons, I'm like, oh, these are perfect for this. Also, yes, I am wearing a fall t-shirt under here because this is very fall and I'm probably gonna get a lot more use of this in the fall time. So a few things that I was not able to finish for this project. Now hear me out, okay? I don't want you thinking, oh, well, you just rushed this to get this out. You gotta hear me out. 2 things I didn't do, and I'm gonna do them. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someday. Later that day.
I didn't weave in any of the ends. If I did not have to take apart, because here's the thing, it wasn't just taking apart these, I also had to unstitch everything that I sewed together yesterday. The sleeves and like the shoulders, I had to take that all out. So that means I had to re-sew it together. It took like maybe an hour out of my time that I could have put aside to weaving in the ends. I'm gonna weave in the ends, don't worry about that. I'm probably gonna do it today. But I did weave in the ends that you would see, such as like when I redid the collar, I wove in those ends. I wove in the ends that were at the bottom. I wove in some of the ends that were kind of sticking out from like in here. I did those just to make it look presentable for today. But tonight I'm gonna take my time now that it is done and just weave in the ends. The other thing that I was not able to finish for this project, only because I'm not 100% sure I know what I wanna do yet. And that thing is I did not put any linings in for the pockets. I made the pockets on the outside look good and presentable, like yes, there is a pocket in here, but there's not. And I just wasn't too sure what I wanted to do for that. Also, my sewing machine is kind of like trapped right now and I can't really get to it because I have to organize in here. And I haven't done that in a while because it's been super cold and I've been working on this. There's 2 ways that I want to do this. One, I'm gonna get like some off-white, preferably a color like this, which I don't have, fabric, sew it into like a little square and then sew it into here, okay? I don't want to crochet a pocket because that's just way too thick. The other thing is I could get some like felt that looks like this color, which I may or may not have, and then just sew like a piece of felt onto here. So there's 2 options. I think I'm gonna go with the first one with the sewing, but again, my sewing machine is not really available to me at the moment. I probably will work on it this weekend because there's a few other sewing projects that I want to get done. And so I feel like if I clean my workstation, I'll just do it all at once. It's so cute, especially like the foxes on the back. It is obviously a lot longer than the pattern is. I think the pattern, like I showed you, probably goes to like this, which is also really cute. But this is not going to be like a cardigan. It's going to be more like a jacket. And I think I'm going to wear it a lot more than a cardigan, especially like right now because I like to wear like t-shirts and like lighter shirts with like jackets and stuff like that. So this to me is more of a jacket than it is a cardigan. And honestly, like, I'm so excited to wear it right now. It's been kind of cold out lately. Watch it get super warm now. This is definitely going to be a staple in my wardrobe once fall hits. Once fall is here, I'm going to be wearing this daily. Like I mentioned at the very beginning of the video, I did make a fox scarf years ago, well over 10 years ago. This is the fox scarf that I made. I don't have a pattern. I don't know what I did. I made this like right when I was starting to crochet. And I even put like the teddy bear eyes. So it's really kind of interesting seeing like one of my first crochet projects was a fox scarf, and now my latest project is a fox cardigan. Let's go sit down and talk a little bit more about the details of this project. I have some notes about this cardigan. It took me 44 hours to make this. This was also probably one of the fastest projects I've ever made, only because I dedicated basically 2 whole weeks to making this. But also, like, it wasn't like that hard of a project. It was just like following a grid and kind of just making it up as I go. Like I mentioned, the original pattern is from Mary Maxim. It was a wolf one, then they converted it to a fox one, but they didn't really change anything to the faces besides like the eyes and the tongue. Other than that, they kind of just kept it the same, whereas the one that Ryan Gosling wears is different, and they didn't do that. They didn't make those changes. So I made a few of the changes. Because I didn't have the fox one that Mary Maxim released, I did buy the wolf one, and then I just made my alterations. I kind of just like zoomed in to the one that Ryan Gosling was wearing and just kind of like looked at the details and then just kind of filled in the details on mine. A few of the things that I did was I made the eyes rounder. I took the tongue part that was hanging out. I also added the white tips to the tails, and then even like on the front panels I did adjust the face a little bit so that way it looked more like the Ryan Gosling version and more like a fox than a wolf. Like for the bottom part, it wanted you to do the ribbing and then rows and then start the paws, and what I did is I just did 1 row of single crochets and then I went right into the paws because I knew this was going to be longer. Also, if it wasn't as long, I would have added some ribbing at the end. The height and the width I did have to play around with, but again, I have made so many of these types of tapestry projects. All I basically had to do was just look at one of my old sweater patterns and the grid that Mary Maxim had in the pattern and just kind of go off of that. So for anybody wondering about the measurements, the length of mine is 29 inches and across is about 25 inches for like the whole thing. And then for one panel, including the ribbing, is about 13 inches. The sleeve length is about 16 inches, including the cuff, and the cuff itself is about 2.5 inches. In total, it would be 18 inches for the whole panel, 9 inches when folded in half. Now, when it comes to the weight of yarn, I thought I picked a good one. Think I could have went a little bit lighter in the weight because in the pattern for knit, it did want you to use a bulky yarn. So obviously when you knit the bulky yarn, it's not going to be as bulky as if you were to crochet with bulky yarn. So I thought I could just go down 1 size, and I went to like an Aran weight yarn, which is still technically a medium 4 weight yarn, but it's ever so thicker than a worsted yarn. For the main color of this sweater, I used almost 2 full skeins of this. And in one of these is 812 yards, 742 meters, 453.6 grams, and I had to use 2 of them. I was really worried that I was going to run out and I would have had to go out this morning and buy more. Thank goodness I didn't have to do that. All the other colors, barely even touched them. And I bought 2 of the orange ones thinking that I was going to need a lot more orange for the foxes. Now, to be fair, that orange or the clay color is like one of my favorite colors, so I am sure I'm going to use it. The gray hardly ever used any. The black I didn't really use any, but I didn't have that thickness of yarn in my stash, unfortunately, because I wouldn't have bought them. I wouldn't have bought them had that happened. Also, when I did buy the yarn, it was all 25% off, so like I did get a little bit of a deal, so I don't feel as bad. Going forward, I know I have those colors if I ever need to do a project with them. This project, I give a 10 out of 10. Near the end of it, I wasn't too sure if I was gonna like it or wanna wear it just because of how bulky and heavy it is, but then once I started adding the details like the pockets and the buttons, this really cute collar, it kind of all came together and I'm absolutely in love with this cardigan. I also like the idea that I now can buy other Mary Maxim patterns, such as the duck one. They got a duck one. They got a fish one. They got like all the ones that I would be interested in. And now knowing what I did to the wolf one to make it this fox one, I can just convert those into crochet too. Although it did take a lot of time and a little stressful, I am so glad that it is part of my wardrobe now. I will not have a pattern for this. This is not my pattern. Legally cannot make a pattern. If you buy the wolf one from Mary Maxim, which I will link in the description below, basically you're just kind of following a grid. So if you know how to do color work and you've like crocheted a few like garments, I'm pretty sure that y'all can figure it out. I think that some people are overthinking about how complicated this is, but once you read like the chart and you just kind of look at it and you're like, oh, 1 square equals 1 knit stitch, or in my case, 1 single crochet, I think it will be a lot clearer and it will make a little bit more sense. Personally for me, because I do a lot of these sweaters, it wasn't really that difficult to take a knit graph and make it a crochet graph. It's essentially the same thing. It's just mine is obviously a lot more oversized than the knit version. In the comments below, let me know if any of y'all are attempting to make this sweater. Are you knitting it? Are you crocheting it? What yarn you're gonna use? I'm really curious to see what everybody else is making. So I just want to know if any of y'all are gonna make this. I think that does it for this video. So y'all have a good day now.